What is this? What is any of this? They're all frozen? Frozen Canary, but who are they fighting?
Ebesit kata, etwa ost.
Solas?
Maraskata!
Your forces have failed. Leave now and tell the Canary to trouble me no further.
Solas!
Solas.
Thank you. I don't know what you did, but thank you.
That should give us more time. I suspect you have questions.
Many of them. Many of them. How did you do that, though, to start with?
How were you able to control the anchor?
In the same way as when I stopped it from killing you at Haven. Although I am stronger now, the mark you bear was bestowed upon you by the Orb of Fen'Harel. My orb.
You're Fen'Harel.
I was Solas first. Fen'Harel came later. An insult I took as a badge of pride. The Dread Wolf inspired hope in my friends, and fear in my enemies. Not unlike Inquisitor, I suppose. You also know the burden of a title that all but replaces your name.
I do. I very much do. You fought for freedom. And that is something to be admired, Solas.
The Dalish legends about the evil trickster god are wrong. I saw the truth in the crossroads.
You saw another story, written in desperation to give me more credit than I ever deserved.
You were a hero, Solas.
I sought to set my people free from slavery to would-be gods. I broke the chains of all who wished to join me. The false gods called me Fen'Harel, and when they finally went too far, I formed the Veil and banished them forever. Thus I freed the Elven people, and in so doing, destroyed their world.
Oh, Solas. Solas, I know, or I guess I don't know, but I get why you did what you did, but was there no other way? Why did you form the Veil? Why did you think that the Veil was the only way to go about this?
You love the Fade. Why would you create the Veil to hide it all away?
Because every alternative was worse.
Meaning?
Had I not created the Veil, the Evanurus would have destroyed the entire world.
Did you imply that the gods aren't dead? That the Evanurus aren't actually dead?
You banished the false gods. You didn't kill them.
You met Mythal, did you not?
I did.
The first of my people do not die so easily. The Evanurus are banished forever, paying the ultimate price for their misdeeds.
Can they be unbanished, Solas? That worries me if they can. Was Mythal... I assume Mythal was never banished then and didn't escape. It was just Mythal was never banished, but... How did they go too far?
You said that the Elven gods went too far. What did they do that made you move against them?
They killed Mythal.
What?
A crime for which an eternity of torment is the only fitting punishment.
I thought Mythal was one of the Evanurus.
She was the best of them. She cared for her people. She protected them. She was a voice of reason. And in their lust for power, they killed her.
This is all starting to make more sense then. Flemeth makes more sense now. Mythal makes more sense now. You make so much more sense, Solas. How did they become gods then? If they aren't actually gods, how did they... I mean, I read pieces in what was the library talking about them standing on top of a toppled mountain, which sounded like a titan to me. So is it just victories in battle and people started worshipping them, or...
The Evanurus were elven mages. How did they come to be remembered as gods?
Slowly. It started with a war. War breeds fear. Fear breeds a desire for simplicity. Good and evil, right and wrong, chains of command. After the war ended, generals became respected elders, then kings, and finally gods. The Evanuris.
Sadly makes sense. And the Veil destroyed your world, right? The world that was when they were blended together. We were reading that the city started to crumble because there wasn't enough magic in the waking world. And this is why spirits must get or become demons in the end if they cross from one side to the other, right? There's not enough magic. Spirits need magic, and if they cross from one side to the other, their purpose gets perverted in some way because of that. Is that even right, Solas?
How did creating the Veil destroy the world?
You saw the remains of Via de Thara.
I did.
The library was intrinsically tied to the Fade, and the Veil destroyed it. There were countless other marvels, all dependent on the presence of the Fade, all destroyed. The elven legends of immortality, all true. It was not the arrival of humans that caused them to begin aging.
It was the Veil.
It was me. The Veil took everything from the elves, even themselves.
So what happens now, Solas? What do you want next?
That's the past. What about the future?
I lay in dark and dreaming sleep while countless wars and ages passed. I woke still weak a year before I joined you. My people fell for what I did to strike the Evanuris down. But still, some hope remains for restoration. I will save the elven people, even if it means this world must die.
Solas. Solas! You can't destroy one world to bring about another. That's what you did before, and look what happened. Solas, you can't do that. That's beyond ludicrous. Don't make me fight you, Solas. Well, granted, I don't know if we were ever friends. We certainly got along at times, and there were some valued conversations there and different points of view, and Solas, don't do this. You have to know you're making the same mistake twice, except now there are even more people that you're going to kill. There's even more history. There's even more life, more everything. And it's not just going to be on one side or the other. Before you tore apart one world, now you're going to tear apart two, technically. You're going to tear apart the Fade and the waking world. What'll happen then? How is anybody going to survive that? You saw what happened when even there was the tiniest of breaches. Solas, you can't. Don't force my hand in this.
Solas, whatever you want, this world dying is not the answer.
Not a good answer, no. Sometimes terrible choices are all that remain. It is my fight. You should be more concerned about the Inquisition, your Inquisition. In stopping the Dragon's Breath, you have prevented an invasion by Qunari forces.
I know.
With luck, they will return their focus to Tevinter. That should give you a few years of relative peace.
Years? Solas, what are you planning? What about the Illuvians?
You control the Illuvians now.
Yes. You remember Briala from Hallam Shiral?
I do.
For a time, she controlled part of the labyrinth.
Huh.
One of my agents was supposed to take it from her, but he did not succeed. I had to override the magic personally. The Qunari stumbled upon this section independently. With them gone, the Illuvians are now mine.
All right. Interesting. Solas, answer me this one question, and answer it honestly, for once. Has it been my Inquisition, or has it been yours and I just didn't know it?
The Qunari said the Inquisition was unknowingly working for agents of Fen'Harel.
I gave no orders.
You led us to Skyhold.
Coryphia should have died unlocking my orb. When he survived, my plans were thrown into chaos. When you survived, I saw the Inquisition as the best hope this world had of stopping him. And you needed a home. Hence, Skyhold.
Why did you give him the orb, Solas? Why?
You gave your orb to Corypheus.
Not directly. My agents allowed the Venatori to locate it. The orb had built up magical energy while I lay unconscious for millennia. I was not powerful enough to open it. The plan was for Corypheus to unlock it, and for the resulting explosion to kill him. Then I would claim the orb. I did not foresee a Divinity Magister having learned the secret of effective immortality.
Why didn't you just wait, Solas, until you were powerful enough? Why give it to some crazy old Divinity Magister who clearly was unstable? I don't understand why you just didn't wait. But what was meant to happen, Solas?
What would have happened if Corypheus had died, and you'd recovered the orb?
I would have entered the Fade using the mark you now bear. Then I would have torn down the veil. As this world burned in the raw chaos, I would have restored the world of my time. The world of the elves.
But then wouldn't the Evanurs have returned, Solas? And wouldn't that have just started everything all over again? You have to realize how awful of a plan this is. Burning down one world to save another is never the solution. There has to be a solution outside of this, I refuse to accept the only solution being to tear down these two worlds to bring back whatever you consider was the world of old, which doesn't sound like it was all it was cracked up to be.
If you destroyed the veil, wouldn't the false gods be freed?
I had plans.
Really? Did you really? Because it all sounds awful and monstrous where I'm standing.
You'd murder countless people.
Wouldn't you, to save your own?
No.
You must understand. I awoke in a world where the veil had blocked most people's conscious connection to the Fade. It was like walking through a world of tranquil.
We aren't even people to you.
Not at first. You showed me that I was wrong. Again. That does not make what must come next any easier.
I can imagine that. I can imagine now seeing us as actual living, breathing, conscious things makes it a little bit harder to murder us all. So what, we're all just pawns in your game, Solas? Is that what everybody is at this point? Because that's sure what it feels like.
You never cared about us. We were the means to an end.
You were people, and you deserved better. Like all the rest I've used in one hopeless battle after another.
What about the mark, Solas?
There's still the matter of the anchor. It's getting worse.
Yes, I'm sorry. And we are almost out of time. The mark will eventually kill you. Drawing you here gave me the chance to save you. At least for now.
Solas, you know, if you save me right here, right now, I will not stop until I stop your plan. I can't let you tear down this world to bring back another that we don't even know if it's a good one. We don't even know what it'll be. I can't let you murder countless innocent people for something that we don't even know what it'll do. I will hunt you down until the end. I will stop you.
If I live, I'm coming to stop you.
I know. Take my hand. I'm sorry. Live well, while time remains.
Something must be done, but we cannot lose the Inquisition now. We stand on the brink of war with the Canary.
Yes, because this Solas provoked them in the first place.
The Inquisition did not cause this threat. We informed the Summit of the danger.
The danger posed by Canary spies inside your organization.
Without our organization, you would not be alive to complain.
No one has forgotten what you have done. But Corypheus is 2 years dead.
If the Inquisition is to continue, it must do so as a legitimate organization, not a glorified mercenary band.
Inquisitor.
Josephine? Hello. Council. Hello. I'm here to tell you right here and right now we're going to solve this ourselves. You are no longer required.
You all know what this is? A writ. From Divine Justinia authorizing the formation of the Inquisition. We pledge to close the breach, find those responsible, and restore order, with or without anyone's approval. It wasn't a formally authorized treaty that saved Ferelden's people. It wasn't careful diplomacy that ended your inane civil war. It was never about the organization. It was about people doing what was necessary. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a world to save. Again. Effective immediately, the Inquisition is disbanded.
In short order, the Inquisition was disbanded. Some were relieved to see the unpredictable organization dismantled. Others preferred to remember the Inquisition's good works and the many lives it had saved. Those who had served returned to their former lives, knowing they had stopped a great evil from destroying the world. And hoping that the peace for which they had fought remained once the Inquisition was gone. With the dragon's breath disrupted and any hope of a swift victory dashed, the Qunari retreated back to the north. Few knew what debates were waged in Parvalen, but not long after the Exalted Council, the Qunari launched new attacks against Tevinter. Their aggression caught their already unstable Imperium off guard. Tevinter was soon mired in a war many feared could spread across Thedas. The Exalted Council remained intact, advising Divine Victoria on important matters. Cassandra served for several years. While she often disagreed with Leliana's policies, the former right and left hands of the Divine shared a mutual respect and worked well together. Cassandra also spent time in the Hunterhorn Mountains north of Orlais, where she worked to rebuild the Seekers. For a time, the new Seekers remained reclusive, showing no interest in worldly affairs, and working to a purpose few outside their order could guess. The end of the Inquisition, as it had been, sent shockwaves through the College of Enchanters. Madame de Fer ably played on the Mage's fears. Her followers united to build a new circle, with Vivienne as its Grand Enchanter, in direct competition with the College. What the Circle lacked in numbers, they made up for in political connections. Soon they were a force to be reckoned with. The two institutions settled into an uneasy coexistence across the south, vying for power. After the Exalted Council, Leliana devoted herself fully to the Sunburst throne and her dream of reshaping the Chantry. Within a year, she removed restrictions surrounding Chantry priesthood, allowing men and women of all races to be initiated and ordained. This decree was followed swiftly by her decision to return the Canticle of Shartan to the canonical chant, a move that divided Andrastians deeply. A rebellion to renounce her and return the Chantry to its former state arose, beginning first in Orlais, then spreading to other parts of Thedas. Divine Victoria was resolute, holding her ground even after several unsuccessful attempts on her life. Seemingly unconcerned with the assassination attempts, she held up the hostility leveled against her as proof that she was on the right path. Sarah left the Inquisition with scarcely more ties than she began, disappearing back into her confusing weave of favors and friends. After seeing the world brought to the brink by arrogance and pride, it was a blessing to return to normal, however strange and normal it might be. With frequent visits to her whittle, of course. Perhaps most unnerving was Sarah's outstanding offer to the Divine. When the knobs piss about with your left hand or right, call on Red Jenny to give them 2 fingers. Varric returned to Kirkwall, where, as Viscount, he resumed his work rebuilding the damaged city infrastructure. Under his rule, the city-state finally resumed its place as the major trade hub of the Free Marches. He continued to ignore all mail from both the Merchants Guild and the Prince of Starkhaven. With the Inquisition disbanded, the Bull's Chargers returned to taking jobs throughout Orlais and Ferelden. Fighting demons and clearing out the remains of Venatori forces, the Iron Bull did his part to restore order in Thedas. After the Inquisition disbanded, Cullen and the Inquisitor retired to private life together. Unburdened by the restrictions of their offices, they continued doing good works on their own terms. That is, after a long overdue visit to Cullen's siblings, who were overjoyed to meet their new sister-in-law. Dorian returned to Tevinter to take his father's place in the Magisterium. As rumors flew about the Imperium's infighting, Dorian was spoken often as a voice of resistance against the corruption. Along with the Magister Maevaris Talani, he formed a group called the Lucerian to restore and redeem Tevinter, a fight many thought hopeless. Those fighting by Magister Pavus' side noted that he kept in constant communication with the Inquisitor via message crystal. Whether for vital information or for moral support, these talks seemed to give Dorian the strength to continue his fight. Tom Rainier was shown mercy when none was deserved, and set on a path of redemption. This gift, so compassionately given, needed to be shared. Freed from his obligations to the Inquisition, Rainier traveled Thedas, giving hope to the condemned and the forgotten. In the deepest prisons and pits of Thedas, he found, if not goodness itself, its potential. By showing faith in those who had none, Rainier lifted them up and made them into something better than they were. With the Inquisition disbanded, Josephine made her farewells and returned to Antiva and her family. Thanks to the Inquisitor's help, the Montiliers were once again permitted to trade in Orlais. The next few years were a busy time, as many ships with the Montilier crest were built and set sail again from Antiva's harbors. Soon, Ravani pirate captains, with an ancient feud against Josephine's ancestors, took to the sea, determined to rekindle the rivalry. Apart from Josephine's sisters Yvette nearly eloping with a dashing pirate prince on one occasion, Lady Montilier took the development in stride. Cole took to the road with Meriden to find a new life and a new way to be human. Wherever Meriden went to sing, people found old pains eased and hearts made happier, even if they didn't understand why. After the events at the Winter Palace, elves left the Inquisition under mysterious circumstances, as did elven servants across Thedas. None could say where they went, but those who believed the Inquisitor's story about Fen'Harel wondered just how large the Dreadwolf's forces were. And what the ancient elven rebel had planned.
My agents have found nothing. With the Illuvians, he could be anywhere.
With the Inquisition officially disbanded, we have no army, no formal alliances.
We have what we truly need.
We will need to be careful.
Solas knows everything about us. Who we are, how we work, our strengths and weaknesses.
Then we find people he doesn't know. We will stop Solas by any means necessary.